We're joined now by Yael Viersman, the founding director of the International Criminal and Humanitarian Law Clinic, an attorney specializing in international law and criminal law. So thanks for joining us here from Tel Aviv. Look, many, right after this Putin announcement here from the ICC making headlines, many in Israel immediately said this, Putin warrant should be a warning to Israel. In what way should it open the eyes of Israeli leaders right now?
Thank you, David. Happy to be with you. What's important here in the message that prosecutor Karim Khan of the ICC is sending to the world, and he said it himself, is that this is not a political message that the ICC is sending. It's a decision that is based on the facts, on the laws that regulate the International Criminal Court. Now, these laws, the ICC acts only when states do not act. What Israel needs to be able to do is to tell the court, we can do better than you. And if that is true, then the court will not move forward. If there are war crimes, crimes against humanity, any kinds of international crimes under the jurisdiction of the court, then the state of Israel has to investigate and prosecute any of these allegations. Now, the Hawara case is a very severe case. It has to be investigated, and if Israeli authorities will do an independent job, a genuine job in investigating these crimes and prosecuting where necessary, then of course the ICC won't enact its jurisdiction. This is called the principle of complementarity. The ICC only acts when the actual state doesn't, and the state in Hawara has to act.
Now, for the statement on Hawara here, so statements, not even actions yet. I mean, how big of a real threat, is it, or that Israeli politicians, military officers could be persecuted at the least, menaced by the ICC in the near term? I mean, what sort of potential, theoretical time frame are we looking at for an issue like this?
Up until now, and still at present, the Israeli judiciary has a very good case in terms of the rules of complementarity that this is, we can talk about legal articles and everything, articles 17 to 19. But what this actually means is that the court, whenever it has jurisdiction, and the pretrial chamber at the ICC found that it does have jurisdiction to investigate any crimes committed in the territories, then the court acts only if the state doesn't act. So this is the principle of complementarity. Now, in order to, if we're talking about what are the chances of an arrest warrant anytime soon against Israelis, etc., the ICC already said it does have jurisdiction. If the Israeli judiciary loses its genuineness, its independence, its effectiveness to investigate and prosecute acts, if Israel, the state of Israel, is unable or unwilling to investigate or prosecute, then the ICC will issue arrest warrants. We see Karim Khan, the prosecutor, he's not, a very clear message in terms of rules of evidence and the law. No one can just do whatever he wants, including states and including officials in states. Now, again, up until now, the state of Israel has a very good, convincing case about the judiciary here in Israel. But for example, if a law stating that there would be immunity for Israeli soldiers acting in military operations from any investigations or criminal prosecutions, then of course that would automatically mean that the ICC that the state of Israel will not, the judiciary of Israel will not act in order to investigate and prosecute. And then, of course, the ICC...
This is something being proposed, I just want to mention, by certain members of the coalition, something like legislation like that. Okay.
Yeah, yes, this is part of the propositions in the coalition agreements. If such an act passes and becomes legislation, then in fact, the Israeli legislative is taking away the legal shield that exists today, protecting Israeli soldiers.
Look, they were talking about activities in a war zone, to a large degree. And Russia, even right now, is trying to draw greater scrutiny on Israel for alleged actions in Syria. We're talking about, esoteric areas of operation like Syria, even the Gaza Strip. Does the ICC? How are they digging into information? Where, are they able to get to the heart of issues like this? Is that another big issue facing the court?
The ICC currently has no jurisdiction over anything happening in Syria. when it does have jurisdiction, it can come to the place itself in order to investigate. In Ukraine, we see that in cooperation with Eurojust, joint efforts between the ICC, Ukrainian, Lithuanian, and Polish prosecutors are investigating on the ground. Ukrainian military arriving to the ground is being trained, including indirectly by our clinic at Brechtman University, International Criminal Humanitarian Law Clinic, on how to collect and store evidence that is admissible before the court. So efforts are collective. It's not only directly by ICC, but also by NGOs and others who can bring evidence to the court, which will then be examined.
Interesting. Deep subject here, and certainly not the end of it in terms of Israel or any of this story. So thanks for commenting and being with us here with your expertise, Yael V.S. Veersmith.
Very much, David.